Second follow-up segment tonight, journalists who deal with national security secrets. 2005, the New York Times reporter Judith Miller spent 85 days in jail because she refused to divulge a source to a federal grand jury. Story centered on former CIA agent Valerie Plame, whose identity was leaked, violating national security laws. Judith Miller, now a Fox News analyst, joins us. So, why, if you didn't write about Valerie Plame, and you didn't, correct?
Nope, not a word.
How did the grand jury even subpoena you to appear?
Well, there was a special prosecutor in the case, and he wanted to ask every journalist, there were more than 12 subpoenaed, who were your sources? Who leaked her name? And I just knew that I couldn't protect my sources. I couldn't get information.
So you were on the beat, the national security beat?
Right.
So the special prosecutor, who was it again?
It was Patrick Fitzgerald, who is James Comey's good friend.
And he was after Scooter Libby, the chief of staff for the vice president at the time, okay? Dick Cheney. Now, so you got caught up, even though you didn't write about it.
Right.
And the grand jury said to you, okay, did anybody talk to you about Valerie Plame? That was the question?
Well, I couldn't even appear before the grand jury. It was the judge who said, you have to talk to the grand jury, and I said, I can't.
So you didn't even go in?
Nope.
So you refused to even sit before the grand jury, and that's why you got sentenced to jail.
Right.
Right? Contempt of the process,
exactly.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Why didn't you just sit before the grand jury and say, I can't tell you? Why did you just didn't do that?
Well, I didn't want to mislead them into thinking they were going to hear something they weren't going to hear.
You were saving them money. You were being nice to them. We'll put you in jail.
Right.
All right, so you're in jail, all right? And then people are respecting you. Your sources need to be protected. What are you thinking about the system? Were you thinking that you were a victim of the system?
No. I was thinking I was doing my job. Reporters have to protect the people who come to us with information.
Okay. What if Valerie Plame had been murdered? Because that's the spirit of the law. If you out a CIA agent, as she was, if you put her name in the press, she could be killed. So what if she winds up dead? All right? Are you still going to protect your source?
That is a hypothetical.
But it's a realistic hypothetical. It goes to the heart of the law.
It does. But in this case, it was worse than that, Bill, because in fact, the Counsel General of the CIA subsequently wrote a book saying nothing happened to Valerie. She could have stayed at the CIA. This investigation never should have started.
What if she were dead, though? See, this is what...
this is why you have laws against leakers.
This is what the crux of the leaker thing is now.
Right.
All right,
no,
that the FBI... Oh, it is, and let me explain why. But I just want to... I'll get you out of jail before we go there. Okay?
Thank you.
So you got out of jail because Libby himself said you can testify, right?
Right.
Okay. Your source, Libby, called you up and said, go ahead, get out of jail after 85 days.
Right.
Okay, and then he was subsequently convicted of leaking, of illegal leaks, and then pardoned.
Of lying to the grand jury. They never convicted him of leaking her name. No one was ever charged.
Convicted of something else then by
Right, that's right.
Okay.
This was a political witch hunt.
Okay, and I'm not going to disagree with that because it's not worth it. Now let's go up to today.
Right.
All right. So we have leakers, and we have them, and they're all over the place now, trying to undermine Trump. That's what they're trying to do, and by putting out information to journalists, they could conceivably violate something that gets somebody hurt. Do you cede that?
I cede that in theory. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is that there was a leak about the National Security Advisor to the President, that he had lied to the Vice President.
But he wasn't president then.
This investigation and the knowledge that Mike Flynn had misled the President happened after Donald Trump was elected.
The tap and the transcript happened before.
Right,
what was leaked happened before, and Flynn didn't have any position in government. He was a private citizen.
But he was the National Security Advisor to the campaign.
Okay, well, what if the Russians had decided, and again, it's a hypothetical, Flynn knows too much. We're going to take him out. You see, I'm just raising the question for all journalists that you have to be very, very careful. You can't just take illegal stuff and throw it out there like Assange did.
That's right.
People can get killed.
Yes.
Last word.
I totally agree with that, but I think the greater danger is that we use national security laws to shut down information and our business, because our job is to present information to the American people that the government doesn't want them to know.
And that's true. If the intent is to expose wrongdoing,
absolutely.
I'm there. And if it's just to undermine a sitting president, I'm out.
How do you know, Bill?
Oh, this is fairly obvious, Judith.
I don't think it is.
It's fairly obvious that this is.
I think you never know why people leave.
We have a polite disagreement here.